welcome to Baking with Jay plus Dan. I'm Jay.
I'm Dan, and today we're making an orange liqueur bundt cake.
So in our mixer, we already have 2 sticks of butter. Make sure it's at room temperature, unsalted, along with 3 cups of sugar. So you want to mix that until it's nice and fluffy, about maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So it looks like this. I'm going to give it a quick scrape.
And to that, we're adding the zest of 2 oranges. So when you zest, just go to the, just use the outer skin. So you really don't want to get too much of the white layer because it can make the cake bitter. So that goes into the butter and the sugar. It's so fragrant. It brightens it up right away.
So you want to mix this for just about a minute. Make sure all the zest gets incorporated with the mixture. Okay, so our zest nicely incorporated into our butter and sugar mixture, and our next ingredients are 6 eggs. Make sure the eggs are at room temperature and just add them one at a time.
So once the eggs are incorporated, it's time to add our flavoring. We have 1 teaspoon vanilla and 1/4 cup of orange liqueur. If you're not using liqueur, you could use orange juice.
So we're going to give that a mix again for maybe about 30 seconds, just to make sure all the flavorings are nice and incorporated into the batter. All right, so our extracts and orange liqueur have been incorporated. Give it a quick scrape down.
And it's time to go in with the dry ingredients. We have all-purpose flour that's been sifted to measure 3 cups. I threw in a dash of salt, and there's also 1 cup of sour cream. So when we add this, we start with the flour, then we alternate with the sour cream and go back and forth in 3 additions.
So our cake batter is finished mixing. I'm going to scrape down the bowl, and now it's time to assemble the cake.
We've prepared the bundt pan with butter and flour.
And I'm going to scoop a couple of spoonfuls of the batter into the bowl.
Maybe 1 more little bit. So there we go. Now to this, we're going to brighten it with orange food coloring. We want to create an orange swirl as contrast in the middle of the cake. So fold that in.
And now I'm going to start to assemble the cake itself by using our cake batter and starting to fill the pan. You can do it in 3 scoops.
Once those first 3 go in, take some of the darker batter. In smaller portions, dollop that right in the sections between the lighter color.
And then just take a toothpick or a knife or a fork, whatever you have around, and just start to gently swirl the batters together. And after that, I'm going to add some more of the cake batter on top of that.
So this time he's putting the lighter color batter on top of the dark section. So you have an alternating swirl. One more addition of the darker batter.
One final swirl, and then we're going to top off the cake with our remaining batter. One more scoop will do it. And then you just want to gently smooth out the top of it so that it bakes evenly.
And this goes into a preheated oven at 355 degrees and will bake for about 55 minutes or until the cake tester comes out clean. When the cake comes out of the oven, let it cool for 15 minutes in the pan, then turn it onto a cooling rack and wait for it to cool completely.
And meanwhile, it's time to make our chocolate ganache sauce. So on the stove, we have simmering 2/3 cup of heavy cream, and in a heat-proof bowl, 2/3 cup of chocolate chips.
Okay.
So we poured the heavy cream onto the chocolate chips, let that sit for about 30 seconds, just so that the heavy cream starts to melt the chips. So our cream has melted the chocolate chips. It's time to start gently stirring the mixture. You don't want to add too many bubbles into the mixture, so just gently stir it. And you'll see that the mixture will completely change color. It'd go from a white to a silky smooth dark chocolate color. And right before you finish mixing it in, I like to add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Make sure it's at room temperature. What this will do is give it a little bit of an extra sheen once you pour the glaze over the cake.
Now, once the butter fully melts into the chocolate, we're going to add a tablespoon of the orange liqueur that we used earlier. This is optional, but it does give it a little extra zing.
And just mix that in. Again, you don't want to add too many air bubbles, so just do it gently. Okay, so I like to let this sit, just that it comes together for a little bit.
I just can't wait. Hold on. Oh, it's really great. Just the perfect balance of orange and chocolate.
And I also like to transfer it to a measuring cup so that it's easy to pour over the finished cake. So this is the texture we're looking for. See, it's thick, not too runny, but still pourable.
Okay.
So just slowly start to pour the glaze and just move your hand back and forth. Don't worry if you get some on the sides or on the bottom of your tray. And just keep going until the entire cake is fully enrobed in your chocolate ganache.
So there it is. Allow the ganache to set at room temperature for, what do you think? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You could throw it in the refrigerator as well, but you want to have that nice and set in order to cut and serve.
So our chocolate ganache has had time to set, and now it's time to cut and dig in.
All right, use a serrated knife. Cut right down. All right. It's time for the reveal. Balance that.
So look at that swirl. Can you see that on camera? Right in the middle.
Beautiful. Take a little taste. It's lovely.
It's a perfect balance of chocolate and orange.
Really, very flaky pound cake. It's delicious.
So thanks for watching Baking with J plus Dan. Please remember to subscribe, share, like, and
don't forget to ring that bell.